What's up? What's up? This your boy Elijah. Welcome back to Glenn's is How I See It. Man, we're back for another episode of Humble Dads, and this is going to be incredibly awesome. Simply because this individual really helped shape and mold me as a college a young man coming into a man. And I'm glad that I'm able to have him on the show today. We've been knowing each other since I think 1997, 98. And we're going to welcome my homie, my friend, Mr. Reginald. What's up, homie?
How's it going, man?
I'm good, dude.
God
Listen,
bless you, man. Good to see you. Long time no see.
I know it's crazy.
I know it. We all have busy lives.
For real. I think the last time that we saw each other may have been in the cafeteria of SFA. I don't know how many years ago that was.
Right. Yeah, that was a while back. A while back. But yeah, because we've been in Tyler now for almost probably 3.5 years.
What?
Yeah, so
Really?
probably was back in 2014, 15.
Yeah, something like that.
Somewhere in there. Yeah. Yeah, it's good to see you, man. Looking good.
I know, man. It's crazy.
Yeah. I'm liking that.
I appreciate that. It's not even trending right now. My wife, you know what I'm saying? I'm waiting until I get paid again.
Yeah.
So I can so I got this barber that I go to. That's better than anybody I've been to, but it costs a little bit.
Yeah. Hey, that's all right. You know, I got mine going on too, but just not as much because mine kind of gets nappy.
Do you get grays?
Yes, sir. I got a little in there. You know,
for real?
Coming up on my birthday on Thursday, so
that's what's up. Happy early birthday.
Yeah, I'll be 47 on Thursday, so you know, them gray hairs are beginning to pop up.
That's what's up. I didn't know that you was that much older than me.
Yes.
I'm 42. I won't be 43 until July. So
okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah.
So let's jump off into this, man. Like,
sure.
Kind of talk to me about what's your thought on what the difference between a dad and a father is, or do you even feel like there is a difference?
Well, I mean, when I think about a father and a dad, you know, it just depends on what level are we talking about. You know, when we're talking about earthly, you know, father and dad, we're looking at the father figure as, you know, the one who gave birth to you, the one who signed your birth certificate, maybe, you know, if they were around. But your dad is actually the one who mentored you, who groomed you, who made you into the person, you know, hopefully that you are today, you know. And so that's kind of the way I look at father and dad on an earthly level. But then, you know, being I am a man of God, I have to look at it on a spiritual level, my heavenly father, you know, and my heavenly dad, you know, and how, you know, that we have our heavenly father, that if we didn't have that relationship with our father or with our dad, that he said, you know, he'd be that father to the fatherless.
He did.
So again, you know, we can look to him as our provider and protector, you know, whereas we would look for our biological or earthly father and dad to do that. Sometimes, you know, people may not have that father in the home or that dad to be around in order to show them. It may have been an uncle. It may have been, you know, a cousin, someone else that, you know, nurtured them to maturity. But if they didn't, then, you know, again, they can always look to their heavenly father, you know, who's right there for them anytime of the day.
That's what's up. That's a dope answer, dude. Like, you said you checked a lot of boxes and then I had a lot of questions as you were talking. So, let me ask you this question first. Do you know how many fatherless children there currently are in the United States?
I don't. It's probably a lot.
What would be your guess if you had to guess?
Fatherless children?
Yeah.
It'd probably be in the millions.
It is.
Yeah.
Give me a million you would go with first.
I just say 2.
17.
Really?
17 million fatherless children.
Wow.
It's crazy, right? And I learned that from a lady that is a lawyer that is she represents dads and fathers and husbands or whatever, and she was talking about how when she gets into a courtroom that the dad is treated way different than the mom, and they don't realize that the dad is very needed in the relationship.
Right.
So then that dad is pulled from that relationship as far as if they're divorced, they get that divorced,
Right.
and then he has a limited amount of time that he can spend with the kid.
Right.
So that's what she was
Wow.
talking about. Yeah. So
Really?
how? Yeah. So for you were talking about mentorships and fathers and heavenly father and dad. Like who was that for you growing up?
Right. Well, I have to say, my dad was in the home,
Okay.
and so my dad taught me, how to be a man. I
Okay.
also had uncles and my grandfather, who
Mm,
also were in my life, and they showed me as well, how to be a man or whatever. And so, just with my dad being in the home, and nurturing me and teaching me things about life,
mm,
because there are some things that when you go through life, that you will experience, but you will experience it also as a man for me,
mm,
and it may be different, to experience it as a woman,
mm.
and so just the simple fact of, the stereotypes. You go to buy a car, you know, if you're probably a woman, they may look at you and think, oh, I can get over on her and sell her, some extra chrome rims or whatever. And
Right.
whereas a man, going to purchase a vehicle, they kind of look at you a little bit more that you know more about a car,
Mm,
about how a car works. And so that way they can't upsell you anything, that you probably wouldn't necessarily need, you know,
right.
just to buy a car with. And so, just coming from that aspect of just showing me, the ropes and how to navigate in this world. I mean,
That's
because
what's up. Go ahead.
we're
I'm glad.
learning every day.
Oh yeah, for
I'm
sure.
learning every day,
For sure. So
because
what do you think? Go ahead. I'm sorry. I
go
didn't
ahead.
mean to cut
No,
you
you
off.
good.
No, I was just going to ask you kind of bridge of, piggyback off what you were saying, like with your dad, and you said you had dad, uncle, and who else?
And my grandfather.
And your grandfather. So you had
Right.
like three dudes like teaching you and molding you to a young man.
Correct. Correct.
That's what's up. Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember, and that helps me understand why you seem to. I don't know if you remember, like you seem to take me under your wing
Right.
for some reason or
Yeah.
another. I mean,
We
because
just
I,
we just click, man.
you know what I'm saying? Because I didn't click with everybody. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And so for you, I'm like, because I remember, like, you remember the night I'm talking about, like
Yeah.
you were there for me, and I
Yeah.
was like crying,
Yeah.
bro. I was gonna die.
Yeah.
Basically, he was like, I got you. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? You barely even knew me, but you were still there for me. And
Yeah.
then after that night, you were still there. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? So I
Yeah.
can see you. So why would you say that you was like that at that particular point? That was like you was like 24, 23, I think
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I was just probably been at SFA for a little while, but
Mm-hmm.
I really didn't have that many people that I associated with or whatever. Kind of kept to myself, and then kind of got there and found my own way and made friends that way.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it goes back to just my humble beginnings,
Okay.
on how I had men involved in my life that when they saw each other or one of them, being down or whatever, that they can
Mm-hmm.
go, to their dad or they can go to their brother, and encourage them,
Yeah.
hey, I may not be going through what you're going through, but I can sort of relate because I may have had a different situation, but yet I needed someone to, be there to lean on, that
Yeah.
shoulder to cry on, so to speak. I mean, it's something about men is that they think men should not cry, or men should not show their emotions,
Right.
and I think that's a problem with us as men while we have high blood pressure and
Oh,
we have heart attacks and all these other things because we hold everything inside.
good
We've
point.
always been taught since at least I was when I was little growing up, is that, real men don't cry. you
That's what
know.
it said.
And so it wasn't until I started becoming of age that, they were like, it's okay to cry, because if something is bothering you or if something is hindering you, you need to show that emotion and not hold it in, because a lot of times uh, holding in negative energy or negative emotions like that, it can make you bitter instead
That's
of making you better,
that's
in
good.
order for you not to get bitter, and move to being better is that you have to release that, release that and have someone there, that'll listen to you. And so I tell people all the time, I'm more of a listener than a talker, but they were like, no, you talk too. But, I really try to listen, as
Yeah,
opposed to talking, because again, you learn a lot, from talking and listening to people. And then, you can take that information and be able to pour into somebody else's life,
that's what
speak life into somebody else's life. And so that's just what I try to do,
that's
is
what
just encourage someone else, because again, we're all, you know, may not be going through the same thing, but we all are going through something,
mm,
and times
mm.
that you're going through, you don't want to go through it alone, you know.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, you was there for me for sure, man. I definitely appreciate that. I want to kind of talk to you about like what do you think was the one thing that you can kind of pinpoint that your mentors, your dad, your brother, I'm sorry, your dad, your uncle, and your grandfather. What would you say would have been one of the main things that you would take away from them
oh
or
man,
have taken away from them? I
it's
know it's a lot of
it's
things.
so much, man. I come from a family where most of the men in my family were auto mechanics. They worked on cars.
Oh, that makes so much sense, bro.
Exactly. Yeah. And so,
Oh,
they worked on cars and I was around them all the time, handing them that wrench or handing them a pair of pliers or a screwdriver or something in order for them to work on a car.
yeah.
And so I got all my teaching and all that about automotive from, them. And so the
Okay.
funny thing about it though is, when I became of age, I told them, I said, I don't want to get my hands dirty, because I seen them with the grease under the nails and all that stuff. And I was like, hey, I don't
Yeah.
want to get these hands dirty, and they
Yeah.
was like, well, we don't know what you're going to do. So that moved me into technology. I
Okay.
got interested in computers and looking at that. I was like, well, I'm still working on stuff. It's just that I'm not getting greasy.
Wow. Very good
So
point.
yeah, yeah, and that's why to the day, that's why I've been in technology, because again, I had the background of wanting to work on stuff and having the
Mm,
know-how of how to work on stuff, except for it just
mm.
moved from automobile to a computer.
Which will always be both will always be around.
And now computers are in automobiles, so it all worked out. It came
That's
full
for
circle.
real.
Yeah, it
That's
came
what's
full
up.
circle.
That
Exactly.
makes sense. I
Yeah,
still remember the blue Jeep you had.
exactly.
I think you may have had an impact on why I had got my Jeep.
Yeah.
I think so. It invertedly because I do remember that. That's
Oh, I'm
crazy.
telling you, I had 2 Jeeps actually, maybe 3, but again, it's just something about those Jeep Grand Cherokees. They last and last.
Yeah, that's what's up.
So I just,
That's
yeah, man, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. So, but
what's up, man.
yep,
Did you? So let's talk about you coming up and then being now you're a father. Like
sure,
when you first got the news that you were going to be a father, and then you
sure,
had your first kid. Like, what was the thoughts that when you held your kid?
man. I mean, it's a feeling that I'll never forget.
Okay.
It's a humbling experience at first, because here you are bringing a life into this world, but
Okay.
then it's also a scary situation, because now you have a responsibility
Mm,
for somebody, not only just yourself, but for somebody that you brought into this world.
mm.
And so that was the main thing for me, because I am a girl dad. I have all
Yeah.
girls. And so,
Yeah.
but being a girl dad, you really get to experience the best of both worlds,
Okay.
because me growing up as a man, I saw how to handle things in a manly type way. But
Okay.
then transitioning into a girl dad, it even made me become more, I wouldn't say sensitive, but more,
You okay to say sensitive. I mean,
compassionate,
it's
emotional,
okay.
exactly. So
You just said before it's okay for men to cry. Then you come back. I don't want to say sensitive.
exactly. So exactly. But I mean, it's all good,
Yeah.
because again, it gets you, that well-rounded as an individual,
Okay.
come well-rounded to me. And so, with that being said, like I said, it was just, I was overjoyed. I was overjoyed,
Mhm.
and again, especially with it being a girl. My wife
Yeah.
asks me all the time, "You sure you don't want a son?" No, that's okay. I'm good. I'm
How
good.
many you have? How many
I have
do you
two
say?
girls.
Two
Two girls.
girls.
Yeah.
What's their ages?
Well, one, she'll be graduating from college with her bachelor's here in the spring, and then the other one, she's a sophomore in high school.
Wow.
Yeah, so time
Wow.
flies.
It does, man.
Yep.
I remember when they, of course, I remember when they were kids, but
Oh
like
yeah.
to not, to not hear about them and then hear them and hear about them where they are, that's
Right.
pretty dope.
Right.
I don't know if you know, but we have four now.
Uh-uh.
Yeah, we have four. Yeah, we haven't talked in that long, but
Uh-uh.
we have four. We have a girl. We have two girls and two boys.
Sure.
Our oldest is a girl, and then
Yeah.
we have two boys, and then another girl.
Oh
Right after
wow.
that, they're 11, 9, about to be 7, and then
Yeah.
2.5.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
You spaced
it's
them out a little bit.
just a tad, bro. Just a
Yeah.
tad, and
Yeah.
and I think that's what like uh that the joy that I get
Mhm.
from being their dad
Mhm.
is cool because I wanted to like I didn't grow up with a dad like most of my listeners
Right.
know, and
Right.
so I want to be the dad that I didn't have, and
Exactly.
and so I'm consciously thinking about like, am I spending enough time with them? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Am I talking to them enough?
Right.
And I one night I said, my son, he walked into the bathroom, and I
Yeah.
said, "Hey, I need to tell you something." And
Mhm.
I said, "You know what I'm about to say?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "What I'm about to say?" He said, "You gonna tell me that you love me?" I said, "Wait a minute. How you know I'm gonna say that?" He said, "Because you always do that,
Yeah. Yeah.
Dad."
Yeah. Oh yeah. 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 Well, and you,
So
you you know you never know what they're gonna say, and they
right,
gonna say what's on their mind most of the time.
absolutely.
But again, it's just like you said, that time. That time that you have to spend with them, to get to know them, and just be there for them. Because I know that's one thing that I kind of struggle with. As a minister, being in the
Mhm.
ministry, is that
Yeah,
you spend a lot more of your time outside of the home than you do inside of the home.
yeah,
So you have to find that balancing act, so to speak, to
yeah,
where you can balance your time with your ministry, but yet still yield that time to be with your family. And
absolutely.
so that's one thing that I've always tried to do is in the summertime, me and my family, we go on vacation somewhere.
Okay.
And so it
How
was
long do y'all stay?
high.
How long do y'all usually stay on
We
vacation?
normally stay for about a week.
Okay.
Stay for about a week, but it was hard this past year because, of course, with COVID and all that, that we
Yeah.
weren't able to, go anywhere or whatever. And
Mhm.
so, but with all this that's been going on, it's given me more time to spend with my family,
Really?
get to know them more. And so,
Okay.
so that's something that's good that's come out of COVID for me is that
Yeah.
I haven't been able to go visit, people like, I want to because of our situation, but yet
Yeah.
through technology, I've been able to FaceTime or Zoom meeting or something like that in order to, see people that way. And so it's just giving me time that I've missed, maybe in the past from me being on the go with my ministry to spend time, with my family and my girls to, really get to know them, now that they're getting up in age.
Yeah, for sure. So talking about your girls, like, do you have one thing that you think that they have of you? Can you see like she has this. My oldest has this of me. My youngest has this of me. What do you
Oh man, I see me in both of them. You know,
Okay.
my daughter, my oldest daughter, you know,
Mm,
she's more laid back and more, studious, so to speak.
okay.
She's always, trying to gain knowledge about something, and so
Okay.
I see that uh, coming from me and her. But then my youngest one, totally opposite. She's
Mhm.
outgoing, and doesn't really care too much about the books, hitting the books or anything like that. She just
Yeah.
have fun all the time.
Yeah.
And so
Hey,
I'm
that's
like, okay.
your alter ego.
Exactly. Yeah. And she's the ones that's with me the most.
Oh,
Whenever I get in the truck, get ready to go somewhere, she won't, hey, where are you going? Can I go?
oh, that's
So
cool.
that's the one
So they
that
like being around you.
exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
The oldest one, she can care less, she's up in age. And so,
Oh, that's nice.
yeah. But the youngest
Yeah.
one, every time I move, she wants to move with me. So
Wow.
but
That's
I see myself
cool.
in both of them. I really
That's
do.
cool. Yeah, I always want men that will watch the channel to get the idea of that or the understanding of when you're in your kid's life, like you're influencing them in ways that you couldn't even imagine until you take a moment to just say, okay, man, what is it that they have um, of me, right? And if I don't like those things, or if I don't like those things, then that means that my behavior needs to change in some regard, right?
Exactly.
And so one of those examples that I was telling some other people about is that like when my kids will have arguments with each other and yelling at each other, right? Especially since they're so close in age.
Right.
Um, what I found out was that I'm trying to tell them not to yell at each other. However, I was one of the yelling people in the house,
Exactly.
how I was dialoguing with my wife. Then
Yeah.
that's how we would dialogue with each other,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
so,
they throw that back in my face all the time. I can be talking to them about something, and then all of a sudden it'll be, but Dad, you said, and it's like,
yeah,
oh yeah, I did say that, didn't I? So yeah, you
yeah,
got me.
yeah. That's
you know,
crazy because that's good. That's a good
they're
point.
listening.
Yeah,
Yep. They're
because whatever you're saying to them, like I think they told me, more is caught than taught or something like that. More is
right.
caught than taught. And
Right.
so my daughter, as I've been working on my business, I share with them my struggles as it relates to me running a business,
Right.
right? Because I don't want them to see like at the end when I do well and they be like, oh man, that was pretty easy. I
Right.
want them to see like the struggle that I had and then what I did to get through that struggle, right?
Exactly. Yeah. I
Okay.
mean, that's one thing that I had talked to my girls about. I was like, okay, which one of y'all is gonna take up computers? And of course, they both said, not me, not me. So I was like, okay, so, but they all into their devices and all that. And so when something happens to it, of course they bring it to me. But
Seriously.
again, they kind of look over my shoulder to see, what I'm doing to fix it or what have you. But I don't think anyone want to be going into the computer business.
So they were like, yeah, I see that, and that ain't it, what I want to do.
Exactly. Yeah. Just go ahead and fix it so I can get to what I need to get to and be done.
Look, my daughter was like, Dad, what you need to do is just trust God.
Yeah.
She was 11. She's 11,
Wow.
and she said that's what she told me. That was like last week. She's
Wow.
like, that's really what you need to do. And
Yeah.
I was like, that's cool. And then I bring it up to her. It's the
Mhm.
same thing. I say, listen, you say you want to develop your relationship with Christ,
Right.
then the same way you talk to me, you can go talk to him.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
so,
Yeah. I think I
yeah,
had that same conversation with my daughter, because again, they come to you for your advice, and they want to hear what you have to say. Of course,
mhm,
they may already know what they want to do, but they
yeah,
go,
right.
give you that opportunity, to put your input in on it. And so, most of the time, the first thing that I say when they come with me with something, I ask them, I say, have you prayed about it? Because my answer may not be the right answer. My answer
Mhm.
may just be coming from Reggie,
Wow.
but you may want to get that right answer from the Lord. And
Yeah.
because again, I'm gonna give you my input, but it's gonna be my input.
Yeah. No, like, so how has that worked out? Like,
I mean,
how did
they look at me like, oh, dad, like really, you can, but I weigh in on it, and I tell
yeah,
them, what I think they should do. And again, most of the time, their mind is already made up.
yeah, but
They
they
just
want to
want to see
see
if I'm gonna
how far,
co-sign on it.
yeah, they want to see how far they are, how far
Exactly,
off are they,
exactly,
what they're thinking. Yeah, that's what's
exactly.
up. So
Yeah.
what are they currently planning on trying to do? Do you have an idea what they
Well, I
want to
mean,
do?
my oldest one, she's going to school to be occupational therapist and
Mhm.
something in that field dealing with physical therapy and things of that nature. And so
Oh,
she
okay.
wants to, be able to help people, you know, um, through rehab, things of
Oh,
that.
okay.
The other one, she's already told me she's following in her mom's footsteps. She wants to be a teacher. So, exactly,
Really?
exactly. So,
Oh man.
okay, that's fine.
Even after now,
Huh?
even during these times, she want to be a
Even
teacher.
during these times,
Oh
yeah.
yeah, baby. She want to be a teacher, bro.
Is that I was so surprised by it because again, she always coming home telling me something about what happened at school. And so I'm like, you sure you want to be a teacher? And she was like, yeah, I want to be a teacher still. So,
Really? That's
even with
good.
all this going on, it's just she wants to be able, I guess, to help others uh in
Mm.
that capacity. So
That's what's up, man.
it's
My daughter's my daughter. So the things that I know right now that they want to be. My daughter, she wants to be a zoologist.
wow.
My son, who's 9, he wants to be a firefighter,
Hmm.
and he said he wanted to go on mission trips. That's what he said as well. And then my youngest son, Ethan, he wants to be. What did he say? He said he wanted to be a race car driver. That's what he.
Really?
Yeah,
Need for
yeah,
speed, huh?
yeah, oh, yeah, yeah. It's interesting because he doesn't like to get hit. You know what I'm saying?
Uh,
Right. And
yeah,
so yeah. And so we found, and so then, so what I've been trying to do is figure out how can I start that now, as far as
right.
like what it is that they want to do. So with my daughter, she is an avid reader, bro. Like she can read probably 4 or 5 books within a week.
Oh, that's good. That's
Okay.
good.
And so because I mean, okay, put it like this: how much she likes to read. We would have to make it a punishment to say you can't read,
Wow.
or else
Oh,
like
that's
if we take away TV.
yeah,
Okay, you know what I'm saying? If we take away screen time,
right.
it's okay, right?
But a
But she
book,
will always be able to go to her book. You know what I'm saying?
wow.
So her punishment would have to be where you can't read. Then
Exactly.
that's how much she enjoys reading, bro.
Wow.
So then I started looking up different professions that you can do with reading,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't know that there were so many. So I started reading them off to her.
Uh,
One of them was reading old books,
really?
archivist, something like that. Yeah.
Uh,
And then one was discovering new authors by
uh,
just going to a publishing company and reading all of these different new author books and finding the newest person, kind of a
right.
scout, kind of like
Right.
a scout.
Right.
And then she lit up. And then the other one that she really was like, oh my God, she can read, she can become a script reader for movie producers.
Really?
And she was like over the moon. Oh my,
Wow.
yeah, yeah,
Uh-uh.
yeah. I
Uh-uh.
didn't know that either. and
Wow.
so, and
That's
so I was
good.
like,
That's
and
good.
so before though, I was like, man, you're doing a lot of reading. Why don't you get into this? Why don't you try to do that? Why don't you try to start your own business like this or whatever?
Right.
She was like, okay. And so she said, I love to read. And
Yeah.
so even with that, we put and so reading, you'll be sitting a lot. And so
Right.
we have to say, okay, you got to be in some type of activity. And so
Exactly.
so all of them are in some type of sports or something. And she's really good at softball.
Yeah. Oh,
She's really good
that's
at softball.
good.
She went you know about baseball, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
She went, and so I can tell you this. You'll understand this. She was her first year, she was not that good.
Mhm.
Second year, which was this past season, She was bad. Her batting order was ninth. She went from ninth to fourth
Really?
in the season.
Wow. Oh wow. That's good.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. So she
Man.
said that's how she's gonna pay for herself to go through college. She wants to get a softball scholarship.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's
Well,
good.
yeah, we homeschool, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So our plan is for trying to figure out how do we get her credits
Right. Right.
to
In order
be
to get
ready.
her lined up with what she need to do. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that's where we are. Then my son,
Uh-huh.
uh, he don't like books
Yeah.
like that,
Yeah.
but he likes magazines. So
Really.
if it's a magazine, he gonna read it. Like my wife, she takes him to the library probably every other week.
Right.
You know what
Right.
I'm saying? And they getting like 10 books, bro.
Really.
Yeah,
Wow.
each. I asked them on Sunday. I said, "Do y'all like reading?"
Uh-huh.
They was like, "Oh yeah, oh yeah." Like when it's time to go to bed, they reading.
Really.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
Well,
yeah, just talking about how I didn't have that. I was telling them I didn't have that, but
right.
I'm glad that they enjoy
Oh, exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
doing that. Right? You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? 'Cause it changes things.
Exactly. I mean, again, it's where, you get your knowledge from, picking up a book and reading, and so again, I find myself a lot of time, picking up different books, reading, to see what other authors or, what other ministers are doing and things of that nature. And that
Right.
I can, see how to apply it or tweak it, in order to fit my ministry or what have you,
Yeah.
And so again, if you don't, then you'll never know. You
Right.
So I'm always, trying to acquire more knowledge, find out some things that, may help somebody else along the way,
It just makes sense though, doesn't it?
Exactly.
Like to so what? So tell me some of the books you been reading.
Well, I mean, here lately I bought it was a Bible book on it was basically like Alcoholic Anonymous book, but it
Okay.
was for Christians. It was a 27-step program on how to deal with someone that has an addiction.
Wow.
Whether it be alcoholism, whether it be substance abuse,
Yeah.
things of that nature. And the way that they outlined it basically pretty much like 27 steps of, substance abuse. Exactly. But it put it on a Christian level to where
Okay.
it actually had scriptures to go along with it in order to, help you facilitate that conversation and
Wow.
to let them know, because a lot of times some people feel like as if they're the only one dealing with that situation, and they're
Yeah.
not. It's just that people don't talk about it, and so until you can talk about it and verbalize it and understand, that you do have an issue or a problem, then you'll never get rid of that addiction, you know.
Mm.
So this book, it just takes you step by step, through the Bible on what the Word has to say,
Wow.
in order to overcome that addiction, and not be bound by it. And so that's just one that
Mm.
I picked up lately, you know.
You just bought that book. You just saw it, or somebody
I just
recommended
saw it and it just clicked to me and registered me
it.
because again, I'm always reaching out to people,
Yeah.
and so, there was someone there at the church, that I felt like could benefit from it, because I could see it, you know, and I was like, okay, but again, first is denial, and so again,
Mm.
it's like, okay, but how do I approach this person? I don't want
Yeah.
to be
Yeah.
judgmental,
Yeah.
be judgmental, but yet I want to be helpful in a way to let them know that they have a support system that they can
Okay.
come to and talk to me, about, their situation. And,
Mm.
and let's see, first of all, what the word says about it, but then let's see how can we, get you some help to apply it to your life,
Right.
to where we can get you to change, from that situation. And so that's just kind of what drew me to, go ahead and get the book. And it's been phenomenal on the information that it has in order to, help you, help somebody else.
That's what's up, man.
Yep.
That's cool. I haven't been reading any Bible books though.
Mm-hmm.
I have been reading some encouraging type books as far as like trying to get your mind uh, around achieving goals.
Right.
And so one of the audio books that I've been reading is called 10X by Cardone or something like that. And he's a big time real estate guy. And
Right.
so he was talking about mindset, which is really what is in any situation, your mindset is going to always be the issue.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Because the devil wants to be there. Like if he can control your mind,
He got you.
he got you. You
That's
know what
it.
I'm saying? And then what we see, what is it that we're reading,
Mm-hmm.
right? What is it that we're intaking?
Right.
Will determine how we kind of move.
Exactly.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah. Well,
So
and the thing about it is that this whole past year, with COVID and everything going on, and how everything was pretty much put at a standstill.
yeah,
A lot of people were having anxiety issues,
yeah.
and things of that nature because they're used to being on the go, and so
Mhm.
they didn't know how to go about channeling that extra energy or
Yeah.
thought processes that they had because they had nowhere to release it, so to speak, nowhere to go in order
Mhm.
to, have fun or in order to feel like that they're doing something. You know,
Right.
yet and still, again, like you said, you have to change your mindset to think, okay, well, I may not be able to go anywhere, but what can I do, you know, at home
Right.
in the area that I have in order to change my thinking of, well, I may not be able to, go see somebody. Well, let me just do a Zoom call, and that
Right.
way you're still interacting. It's just
Right.
that, you're doing it through technology and not face to
Yeah.
face.
Yeah.
You
You're having to adjust. Like
Exactly.
it's important to adjust, right? So
Exactly.
do
Yeah.
you so when as your kids were growing up, like do you remember a teaching moment that sticks out to you the most? Like there's something that happened to one of your girls and you was like, okay, I got to make sure I get this one right.
Yes, I remember one so clear. It was when my oldest daughter was getting ready to get her driver's license.
Okay.
And so she had went through the course and all that, and taken the course, and she was just ready for her vehicle. And so I said, okay, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go to go-kart place, Grand Prix, where you drive the go-karts around the track or whatever.
Yeah.
We're gonna
Yeah.
go there. And I said, what we're gonna do is if you drive that go-kart well enough, then we'll see about getting you a car, and all that. So we go to the racetrack. I kid you not. We go to the racetrack. I put my daughter in a car by herself. My other daughter gets in the car with me. And my wife is standing on the sideline looking over, with her resting on the fence, looking.
Mhm.
And so the man is giving us instructions about how many times we'll go around. And, once the light turns yellow, then we got one more lap. And then when it goes red, that's it. We come on back in. And,
Yeah.
I'm sitting there, I'm looking and I'm watching my daughter. I'm like, she really ain't paying attention, And so, but I'm like, we're going to see. And so the man says, okay. And so the light turns green for us to go. And we go around the track and we're getting to the backside of the track, finna make one lap. Instead of my daughter continue to going around the track, she goes in where we came out.
What?
And don't go in the same lane that she came out of. She goes straight into, they had this like tire thing with cement in it.
Yes.
Stop the
Yeah.
car in order. Well, normally it's there for the lanes in case somebody get out their lane. If they
Yes.
hit that rubber tire and it moves them back into the lane.
Yes.
Get you not. She hit that rubber tire with concrete straight on, busted the concrete that was in the actual tire that was in a pole in the ground. And all I seen was smoke coming out that go-kart. And so me and my other daughter, we're coming down the hill and we see this. And I'm like, oh my, I hope she okay, you know?
Right.
And
Right.
so we get there and I asked her, I said, did you not hear what the man said? The man said that we go around the track. until the light turns yellow. Then we got one more lap to come in. She's like, yeah, but I thought we go back through the lane again instead of going around the track. I go back through the lane that we came out of and go. I said, oh my.
That's hilarious, bro.
Exactly. And to this day, we all remember that. We all remember that. We was like, no, you cannot stay in your lane. So
She thought that she was supposed to go through,
right,
and
where
that was going to be the lap.
exactly. Yeah, that you go through there and then keep going. And I was like, you didn't see this whole big old track out here, you know, that you can keep going around in a circle on. And then when everything is done on your last lap, you go back in to where all the go-karts are parked at. No, because she had to go back through there in order to keep going.
Right. That's it. So
Yeah.
what was the lesson? What did you teach? What did she learn?
The lesson is that, you know, you have to pay attention to every detail, you know, because the first thing she said, well, he didn't say that, you know, that you had to, you know, go around the lap thing. She was thinking, you know, so she was looking for specific details to say, you continue on the lap around the track. Don't come back in here. Just continue on the on the lap around the track. And so she was like, well, he didn't say that. And
That's
so,
crazy.
yeah, so that's been the family's running deal because now my youngest one, she's up to that age to where she's ready to get her license. And I said, you know where we're going, don't you? We're going to the racetrack.
What gave you that idea to do it like that as opposed to going to the parking lot?
Well, first of all, I didn't want to tear my vehicle up. Well, letting her drive my vehicle and trying to show her, you know, in my vehicle on, okay, you do this, you do that, you know. So I said, I tell you what, you know, and I thought about going to a golf course and then on a golf court, but then I was like, there's people there, you know, that's, you know, serious about playing golf, you know, and so she's just out there trying to learn how to drive, you know, and stay on the trail. So I was like, where can we go? And I was like, ideal spot. Go to a Grand Prix racetrack. She has control of the gas, the brake, how close she's in front of the you know, next go car in front of her and all that. And so
control speed too, so she can only go so fast.
Exactly. But when she got out and I got up there to her and seen the smoke and all that, I walked up to her and I said, are you all right? She's like, yeah, I'm all right. I said, you sure you're okay? Yeah, I'm okay. I said, well, guess what? You failed your test. Yeah. Like, yeah, you failed your driving test.
Wow. Well, better there than somewhere else.
Exactly. Better there than exactly out on the street somewhere. And so, like I said, from that, I think she learned that, you know, driving is a lot more serious than just getting behind the wheel of a vehicle and matching the gas. You know, that you got to be aware of your surroundings even more than just, you know, what you're doing, because you know what you're going to do, but you don't know what that person in the car next to you is going to do. And so I think she really learned that lesson that she has to be aware of her surroundings, you know, no matter what she's doing. So
that's a good point. I like that.
I was just glad it wasn't an expensive lesson. They said, hey, y'all got to pay for this this go-kart.
For real. What did y'all have to pay for it?
No, they said, oh no, you know, they tried to console her and say, oh, you hadn't been the first ones to run into it. And I'm like, we may not been the first one to run into it, but we probably the first one done ran into it full speed, got coming up out the engine.
For real. That's a good point. I like that story. So we're gonna get into our questions as far as our 3 questions. If you could give me a number between 1 and 44.
21.
Okay, this is a good one. Who was your childhood hero?
Wow. Childhood hero.
Yeah.
Man, I would have to say one of my teachers in elementary.
What? You remember elementary? Okay.
Yeah, well, I don't really remember elementary, but I remember, you know, what she instilled in me. Okay. You know, she taught me, you know, how to respect, how to respect people. You know, because when you're young and at that age, you know, you kind of trying to find your way, you know, with your peers and all that, and trying to basically, um, you know, let others know, you know, that they can't bully you, that they can't, you know, pick on you or whatever and all that. And so, yeah, and so that was a thing that really gnawed at me when I was younger, is that, you know, being bullied and picked on, you know, for whatever reason. And so, you know, she just set me down one day and said, you know what, they pick on you for a reason, is that they see something in you that they don't see in themselves.
Wow.
And when she said that to me, that always stuck with me, you know.
Obvious.
And so I was like, what do you mean by that? And she was like, well, because, you know, you have all this knowledge and you do all these things and all this, you know, she just started naming off all these qualities that she saw that I didn't even see in myself.
Yeah.
You know, and so that gave me kind of a reassurance, is that, oh, well, I don't have to fit in with the crowd. You know, I can still be myself, and it's okay to be myself and not be fitting in with the crowd, you know, so to speak. And so she just, you know, taught me that, you know, even though, you know, others may not accept you, you know, it's always a reason why. And so don't put yourself down, you know, trying to fit in. You know, it's kind of like putting that square wood into a round hole. You know,
Yeah.
it's gonna fit. You know, don't try to fit in with people that, you know, don't fit in with you. You know, be yourself. Be yourself, and it's a reason why they're picking on you, because they see something in you. You know, yeah. So I always remember that, you know, from elementary to now. I always remember that, is that, you know, hey, you don't have to be the most liked person. You know, you don't have to be the most, you know, people gravitate to you or what have you. Run with, you know, the cliques, so to speak. You know, you can be yourself, and exactly, and be, you know, by yourself sometime. That's just who you are.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yep.
That's what. Give me another number.
Let's go with 3.
3. Okay. What are your memories about the houses you lived in as a kid? Did you have a favorite?
The houses I lived in as a kid.
And did you have a favorite?
Man, let's see. I lived in 2 separate houses, possibly 3 as a kid. I wouldn't say I had a favorite, but I would say I learned from each one, you know, because the first one we had, you know, me and my brother, we stayed in the same room. I got 2 sisters, you know. My sister stayed in one room and me and my brother stayed in another room, you know. And so, you know, that was from the first experience. And so, but the second experience is, you know, we gravitated to a larger house, you know, to where I potentially had my own room, you know.
That's a good deal right there.
Exactly, yeah. And so then, you know, that was exactly, you know, having your own room and being able, you know, not to be worried about someone else putting stuff on the floor besides you. Is like, no,
We both not gonna get in trouble for this, man.
exactly, exactly. And so I would say, you know, just being able to get that independence, you know, get that independence, and being able to, you know, see how, you know, my dad was progressing, you know, not only himself in life, but also progressing us, you know, moving us from one place to another place, you know. And so
that's what's up. So that's what's up. Give me your third number.
Third number, 7.
What is the what do you think was the dumbest thing you did as a child?
Dumbest thing?
Yeah, I've had some interesting things on this one.
Dumbest thing I've done as a child. Well, I can tell you probably the dumbest thing that ever happened to me as a child.
Okay.
You know, again, it goes back to elementary. I mean, that's your
Right.
foundation,
Right.
you know, but back then in elementary, again, like I said, you're trying to find your way, you know, and still, you know, you're looking at the girls and all that stuff, you know. And so one day we were going to PE recess, and you know how we all have to form a line, you know, to go to recess or whatever, what have you. And so it was, you know, a couple of girls I called myself liking back then, you know. And so walking to recess, you know, we all walk in a straight line. Well, the other classes are coming by on the other side, you know.
Okay.
And so there's this one particular girl that I had interest in. And so I called myself gonna turn around, you know, to see her, to look at her. And so I did. And so when I turned around and my teacher called my name and asked me what was I doing, I turned back around and ran slap into a pole.
No way.
Get you now. You see that mark right there in the middle of my forehead?
Yes.
Still got it to the day.
Red.
When I ran into that pole, I still got that mark till the day.
That's crazy. Let me tell you why it's crazy.
Why's that?
I don't know what grade you in, but for me, kindergarten,
Mm-hmm.
there was this similar situation. There was this girl that I thought was kind of cute. Okay. And I was on the monkey bars. I think it was the monkey bars. And like, I'm just like, I'm not up, but I'm just around. I'm like holding on. I'm swinging around, looking at her. And then bam, I hit my head. It was like a scar. You probably can't see it now, but there was a scar on my eye. It was bleeding. I had to, the ambulance had to come get me.
Wow.
And take me to the hospital and get stitches in my up above my eye, bro.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. Yeah. I busted that open real good. Real good. So
yeah, similar situation.
Yeah, I got that mark to this day, man. So that was probably the dumbest thing I've ever done.
That's crazy. And when you was talking, before you said that, I was thinking the dumbest thing that I had done was that.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Those hard life experiences that you learn the hard way.
For real. That's crazy. All right, cool. So those are the last questions, and as far as that's concerned. But the last and most important question is, how would you like for your daughters to remember you?
Oh man, how would I like for them to remember me? Well, you know, I would hope they remember me as, you know, a father who provided for them, who protected them, who sheltered them, you know, basically did everything in his power in order to make sure, you know, that they had a better life than I had, you know. And so I would hope that they would remember me in that way. And also, you know, to remember me as genuine, you know, outgoing, God-fearing, you know, always willing to help someone else, no matter what the situation may be, and just a caring, loving, you know, father that always wanted to be there for them, you know. So,
I appreciate that. Yeah, that's dope, man. That's really good. But that concludes this episode of Humble Dad, episode number 22, How I See It, on the channel of Glenses. Say, man, I really appreciate your time, homie.
Oh man, I appreciate you asking me, man, because like I said, you know, I didn't know what to expect, but I'm glad you asked me, man. So I definitely appreciate the opportunity, you know, to speak with you and your audience on today, because, you know, I really have, you know, enjoyed it, you know.
Really?
So exactly. Hopefully they've enjoyed it. And so this something else that I can tell people that I've done, you know, and let them know that, hey, you know, sometimes you have to get out your comfort zone. Get out your comfort zone and do something that you may have never thought that you would do, you know, in order to overcome.
Yeah.
Because now I can say, hey, you know, I've actually sat down and had an interview live, you know, with someone, and it went well, you know. So I appreciate it, man, definitely.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate it. Is there any last words you have that you want people to know as you have their attention?
Nothing at all specific. Like I said, we are still in a crisis right now, with everything that's going on in the world. And so I would just ask, your listeners and audience, if they would continue to pray, for everybody. I mean, this world is in need of a healing that only the Lord can provide. I mean, we can't look to leadership, and places like that because of the things that are going on, but we can look to the Lord, because He knows when all this is going to be over with, and He's still in control. No matter what we may think, we're going through, or how hard things may be now, there's always somebody that has it harder. And that's what I try to remember, is that no matter what I'm going through, and no matter what the situation looks like, someone else has it harder, or someone else is dealing with something harder than you. And so if we could just learn to love on one another, and be more courteous to one another, what a world would this world be? So appreciate it, man. God bless you.
Absolutely, man. Appreciate you too, man.
All right. Take care.
You do the same, man.
All right.